Well, we may go into the finish of the day with a little bit higher row crop prices. We'll have to wait and see. The jury is still out on that, but we are getting ever closer to the close of the day. Let's bring you up to date on those latest numbers and let you know where things stand right now. Now, this corn market has basically been just slightly above unchanged for a good part of the morning and just slowly gained a little bit of momentum just about every half hour. And right now, December corn is up 1 1/4. So we're a penny higher than where we started the day, 338 3/4. The high of that contract right now, 339, the low 337. So as you can see, we're just one tick here off of the high, but still in a pretty narrow range right here. July corn is up 3/4 at 367.5. It's January soybeans up 8 1/4 at 976. July up 8 at 1005. It's December Chicago wheat down 8 at 420. July is down 7 1/4. July Kansas City wheat is down 9 at 465 1/4. July Minneapolis wheat is down 1/2 at 648 3/4. And December cotton up 24 points at 68.84. Now, let's go to the edge of the trading floor in Chicago with the CME Group. Todd Horwitz with Bubba Trading is here with us. Well, Todd, you and I talked this morning. These row crops were just slightly higher, but we've seemed to have gained momentum throughout the day.
Good afternoon, John. Yeah, I mean, look, people are going to get tired of selling them, right? When markets are dull, agricultural products should get sold into. It's like an easy short for speculators. And of course, I believe they're going to get trapped here being on the wrong side of the market. I think the right side here is to be on the long side here. I think we're going to see much higher prices. I think it'll start with a little bit of a short squeeze. But until then, you can see that speculators keep pushing, try to push and push, but they really can't break the market. We haven't really had this major push to the downside. And I think that's the real secret here. And I think we look for a lot higher prices.
Well, it's going to take some kind of a catalyst to be able to put a fire under this and ignite all of this. That could come from just about anywhere from weather in the southern hemisphere to maybe some good demand.
You know, John, it could be anything. And of course, all we need is a little bit of a bullish hint and have some of the shorts start to get nervous. And then you get what we call known as a short squeeze. And that could be the driving fact that could push us back into the uptrend, in which I think we will be, probably, in the next few weeks. I think we're going to start to see these move a little bit higher. I think it's just going to find this base, this bottom. And I think it's pretty close here if it's not already in. And then I think you look for prices to start to move higher. And you can get one big spark to get it really going. And all it takes is a little bit of bullish news. And there you go. We'll be off to the races.
Well, a little bit of sell-off in this wheat market today after kind of starting the week out being the leader in all of this.
I'm going to have to go out and start selling some bread. I got to get bread and cake going. I got to get those wheat used. I'm long wheat, and it's not very comfortable at the moment. But I think it's the same thing. I think wheat hasn't always been an easy one to sell when people want to sell something. And I think this is going to be the same story. I think wheat might be the beginning when it finally bottoms. This may be the bottom today. It was down 7, 8, 9 cents at one time. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually ended up getting closer to unchanged before the day is over.
What about the fund managers right now, Todd? Are they just wanting to kind of stay away from commodities right now? But what's their thought process?
Most of them that are in are short, and I think this is where the trap comes in. And I think they continue to, everybody's looking for something to trade, John. They're looking for yield somewhere, and they're trying to figure out something to keep their clients happy. And I think they're trying to push here and trying to break the market. But of course, really what happens in these markets is people just basically walk away and let them go ahead and sell away, and that's I think what they're doing. But when it does change, it'll change rapidly, and all of a sudden, before you know it, we know that markets will announce themselves. We'll start moving higher again, and that's what I think will happen. But they're trying to push these markets down to keep their clients happy.
And that's a very good point. And I want to ask you a follow-up question, but first we need to take a real quick break. Todd Horwitz with us, and we've got more Market Day Report right after this. Todd Horwitz with Bubba Trading is here on the line with us for live from Chicago at the edge of the trading floor. Todd, when we left off, you had mentioned you were talking about the fund managers with us a little bit, and I want to go down this road here for just a moment because you could talk about this all the way across all of the commodities, whether it's livestock or grains. You were talking about how they're wanting to watch out for their fund, the managed funds here a little bit, wanting to find some yield. We're kind of in that malaise, and I'm going to use your your term here for just a moment. All these markets are very, very quiet. It's got to be tough to find anything that really shows a lot of shine.
It's very tough, John. And what happens is you try to pick on the weakest one and you try to push it a little bit, because what you're really trying to create is like in their case, I think right now they're trying to create a big sell-off, which is actually they probably want to buy underneath, but they're going to try to break them down. And I don't think they've been very successful. And I think that is where the markets will start to turn. These are the things you look for in markets when they no longer can really go down with any energy. That just simply means that they let them push them down for a minute and then they spring back a little bit, and that's kind of what happened in corn. I think that's why I'm definitely comfortable with the bottom in corn, and I think wheat is very close, if not there now. Are
you going to talk about this when you have your seminar coming up in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I go through all the markets. I think one thing we have to learn as speculators or as farmers is what makes the markets work, and it always comes back down to the money. And when there's no longer any sellers around, the markets are going to rally. And when there's no longer buyers, we see this happen all the time. You know, when we get these crazy prices in one direction or the other, most likely the markets will reverse and go the other way. And that's a very important thing to understand, no matter what you're doing in the investing or speculating world.
All right, let's look at the live cattle. I want to get your opinion over here. This cattle market took off here just a little bit. Right now, December live cattle up 95, 120.45. February fats up 80, now 93 at 126.08. November feeders up 46 at 158.08. January feeders up 50 at 154.40. But we did see some cash trade already at 119, Todd.
Well, you know, I think we talked about this morning. I thought fats have found a pretty good level, and it would be a good spot to step in and buy, and we've seen that little bit of rally. I think feeders are still well overcooked, and they need to go down a little bit farther. I think this is just kind of a reaction rally. You look at hogs and fats, feeders kind of came along for the ride, plus the fact that corn was a little bit lower, but I think feeders still got about $4, $5, $6 to go on the downside. I think they're going to break 150 basis January before I would look to be a buyer here, but I think fats are great to own right around the 119 level, and I think that hogs look like they're going to head down to that 58, but I thought we'd get a bounce off at 60, which we've got today. We were up around 61.5 last I looked.
December lean hogs up $1, 60.98, but all the rest of those contracts down, like February's down 12, April's down 67, May's down 12. We thought maybe that we'd found a little bit of firmness to rely on here in the hogs, but not the case.
I think you'll find it. Again, I'm pretty confident that you're going to find it here real quickly, and it's no surprise that December is bouncing a little bit. Now, again, I think there's a little bit more room on the downside in which I want to step in, but I did have everybody get out of all their short positions yesterday at 60-20, so I think we're now looking for a spot to get in on the other side and take them back up.
Todd, Bubba Horwitz, how can we find out more about you?
You can look. You can email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com, or you can go to my website, bubbatrading.com. And of course, every day I send out updates as well. You know, just sign up for them. They're right there for you, and love to communicate with everybody and help you out with your marketing plan or whatever you need to have done.
All right, we'll talk to you tonight on the Real Evening News, Todd. Thank you very much,
John.
and always a pleasure to talk to Todd Horwitz.
Absolutely, yeah. He's still thinks for higher money coming here later in the year.
Very optimistic.